The Mikoyan-Gurevich MiG-15 was one of the most famous jet fighters of the 20th century, developed by the Soviet Union in the late 1940s. As an iconic aircraft of the early Cold War period, the MiG-15 revolutionized air combat with its speed, firepower, and agility. Known for its role in the Korean War, 1950 to 1953, where it squared off against American jets, such as the F-86 Sabre, the MiG-15 is often credited with shifting the balance of power in aerial warfare during the early jet age. Over 12,000 MiG-15s were produced, and it was used by numerous countries aligned with the Soviet Union, making it one of the most widely produced jet fighters in history. The development of the MiG-15 began in the aftermath of World War II, as the Soviet Union recognized the need to transition from piston-engine fighters to jet-powered aircraft to keep pace with Western advancements. During the war, the Germans had developed jet fighters like the Messerschmitt Me 262, and the British had introduced the Gloucester Meteor. The Soviets, who were lagging behind in jet technology, accelerated their efforts in the post-war years to catch up. The design bureau, led by Artem Mikoyan and Mikhail Gurevich, known as the Mikoyan-Gurevich Design Bureau, was tasked with developing the new jet fighter. Their earlier efforts, such as the MiG-9, had been underwhelming, but the acquisition of advanced German research and jet engine designs, coupled with British assistance, propelled the development of the MiG-15 forward. A crucial moment came when the Soviets obtained Rolls-Royce Nene jet engines from the British in a deal brokered in 1947. Although the British government hoped that providing these engines would encourage diplomatic relations, the Soviets reverse-engineered the design and used it to power the MiG-15, resulting in the Soviet Klimov RD-45 engine. The MiG-15 first flew in 1947, and by 1949, it entered service with the Soviet Air Force. The aircraft was designed as a high-speed interceptor and air superiority fighter capable of engaging enemy bombers and fighters at high altitudes. Its development marked a significant leap in Soviet aeronautical engineering, incorporating advanced aerodynamics, a powerful jet engine, and heavy armament. The MiG-15 was a single-engine, swept-wing jet fighter that demonstrated remarkable performance for its time. Its swept wings were inspired by German research conducted during World War II, and this design greatly improved the aircraft's stability and speed at transonic and supersonic speeds. The MiG-15 could reach speeds of up to 1,075 km per hour, 668 miles per hour, and had an operational ceiling of 15,500 meters, 50,853 feet, allowing it to operate effectively at high altitudes. One of the most notable aspects of the MiG-15 was its armament, which consisted of two 23mm NR-23 cannons and a 37mm N-37 cannon. This heavy firepower made it especially lethal against larger aircraft like bombers, as its cannon rounds could inflict significant damage with just a few hits. In air-to-air combat, this firepower gave the MiG-15 an edge over many of its contemporaries, as Western fighters of the time were typically armed with machine guns or lighter cannons. The aircraft was powered by a Klimov RD-45 turbojet engine, which was based on the Rolls-Royce Nene engine. This engine provided around 5,000 pounds of thrust, giving the MiG-15 excellent acceleration and climb rates. The fighter was also equipped with a pressurized cockpit, allowing it to operate effectively at higher altitudes than previous Soviet designs. The MiG-15 gained international prominence during the Korean War, where it faced off against the United Nations forces, particularly the United States. When North Korea invaded South Korea in 1950, the war quickly escalated into a proxy conflict between the Soviet Union, China, and their communist allies on one side, and the United States and its allies on the other. The MiG-15 made its combat debut in late 1950 when it was deployed by North Korean and Chinese forces, with Soviet pilots flying many of the early missions under the guise of North Korean or Chinese aviators. The appearance of the MiG-15 over the Korean peninsula stunned Western air forces. Its high speed, heavy armament, and ability to operate at altitudes above 40,000 feet allowed it to challenge the U.S. Air Force's B-29 Superfortress bombers, which had previously operated with near impunity. The U.S. responded by deploying the F-86 Sabre, a swept-wing jet fighter that could match the MiG-15 in terms of speed and maneuverability. The dogfights between MiG-15s and F-86 Sabres over an area known as MiG Alley became legendary. The two aircraft were closely matched, with the outcome of engagements often coming down to pilot skill rather than the capabilities of the aircraft themselves. However, the MiG-15 was particularly effective in high-altitude combat, where it could take advantage of its superior climb rate and firepower. The MiG-15 was successful in its role during the Korean War, forcing the United Nations to revise its air strategy and proving that the Soviet Union had developed a fighter capable of matching, and in some cases surpassing, the West's best jets. By the end of the war, MiG-15 pilots, many of whom were Soviet or Chinese, had claimed hundreds of victories against UN forces. However, official numbers vary, with both sides inflating their kill counts. The MiG-15 was produced in large numbers, with an estimated 12,000 units built by the Soviet Union and its allies. In addition to Soviet production, license-built versions were manufactured in several communist bloc countries, including Czechoslovakia and Poland. The MiG-15 was exported to many countries within the Soviet sphere of influence, including China, North Korea, Cuba, and several Eastern European nations. Several variants of the MiG-15 were developed, including the MiG-15 bis, which featured improved engine performance and avionics. Another significant variant was the MiG-15 UTI, a two-seat trainer version that was widely used to train new pilots. The MiG-15 UTI remained in service for decades, and many countries used it as a basic jet trainer well into the 1980s. The MiG-15 became one of the most famous aircraft of the early Cold War due to its role in the Korean War and its status as a symbol of Soviet technological achievement. It was not only a formidable combat aircraft, but also a demonstration of how quickly the Soviet Union had closed the technological gap with the West after World War II. The success of the MiG-15 prompted further advancements in Soviet jet design, leading to the development of even more capable fighters, such as the MiG-17 and MiG-19. The MiG-15's popularity also stemmed from its widespread use around the world. As one of the most produced jet fighters of all time, it became a staple of air forces in many countries, especially in the communist bloc. Its simple, rugged design made it relatively easy to maintain, and its excellent performance ensured that it remained in service for many years, even after more advanced jets were developed. The MiG-15 was a groundbreaking aircraft that changed the face of aerial combat. As one of the first jet fighters to combine high-speed, high-altitude capabilities with heavy firepower, it demonstrated the Soviet Union's ability to produce world-class military aircraft. Its success during the Korean War and its widespread use made it a symbol of Cold War aviation, and its influence can be seen in the development of subsequent generations of fighter jets. Even today, the MiG-15 remains an important chapter in the history of aviation and a testament to the rapid advancements in military technology during the 20th century.